I never thought I'd be the kind of man to break down a door. I used to believe anger was something you could master, that real strength came from restraint, from knowing when to walk away. But that night, control was an option. My name's Ethan, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I was living the dream, married to the woman I'd grow old with, Claire. It started subtly, the kind of changes that are easy to dismiss. Late-night work calls. Her phone flipped face down, always locked. A sudden obsession with the gym. I told myself it was nothing, just a rough patch after 8 years of marriage. But once suspicion plants itself, every little thing turns into evidence. Every laugh sounds fake. Every word feels rehearsed. That Friday, Claire told me she was heading to her friend Megan's for a girls' movie night. Something in her tone twisted in my gut. The way she said it, too casual, too careful, sounded like a practice lie. I kissed her cheek, told her to have fun, but when the door closed behind her, a heaviness settled in my chest that wouldn't leave. An hour later, I followed. Call it instinct, call it desperation. I just needed to know. Megan lived across town, about 20 minutes away. But when I got there, Claire's car was nowhere near the building. I circled the block twice. Nothing. I called her. No answer. Texted her. Hope you're having fun. Still nothing. Then I saw it. Her car parked outside a small apartment complex near the river. My stomach dropped. I pulled over, cut the engine, and sat in silence, gripping the steering wheel. Every logical thought screamed at me to go home, to stop before I made things worse. But logic doesn't survive betrayal. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step echoed like a warning. The hallway smelled of stale beer and cheap cologne. Apartment 2B. The door was slightly open, a soft glow spilling into the hall. My heart hammered, so hard I could barely hear. Then laughter. Her laugh. The one I hadn't heard in months. I pushed the door open. Time had slowed down. It shattered. Claire sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket that wasn't ours, next to a shirtless man I'd never seen. Her hair was tousled, a glass of wine in her hand, her legs tucked beneath her. When her eyes met mine, the color drained from her face. "Ethan, what are you—" she began. I didn't answer. I just stared. The air was thick enough to choke on. My chest burned, but no words came out. The man scrambled for his shirt, while Claire's tears started to fall. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. That line, the oldest, most pathetic defense in existence. I laughed, not out of humor, but from something inside me finally breaking. "You should have respected me enough to lie better," I said quietly. She reached out, trembling, but I lifted a hand. "Don't. Just don't." For the first time in 8 years, she looked small to me. Not delicate, not beautiful, just small, like someone hiding behind weak excuses and shallow lies. Someone who traded something sacred for a cheap thrill. I turned to leave. My hand froze on the doorknob when she whispered, "Please, can we talk?" I didn't look back. "You've already said enough, Claire." When I stepped outside, the cold hit like a slap. I didn't drive home right away. I sat in my truck, gripping the wheel, tasting metal. I thought of every moment that led us there, every uneasy feeling I'd ignored because I loved her. That's when I realized she hadn't just betrayed me. She'd made me doubt myself. I drove aimlessly, the city lights smearing across the windshield like fading memories. My hands shook, not from rage, but from the weight of understanding. Love doesn't die in one blow. It rots quietly under the weight of denial. I ended up at a diner off the highway, one of those places where nobody asks questions. I sat for hours, staring at a cup of coffee that kept going cold. The man reflected in the window barely looked like me. Hollow eyes, tired face. Someone who hadn't just lost his wife, but his anchor. By sunrise, I drove home. The house felt foreign, too neat, too staged, like a set for a life that no longer existed. Her scent still lingered on the couch. The photos on the shelves smiled back like ghosts. I stood there in the hallway, unsure if I wanted to scream or collapse. Instead, I just slid down the wall and let silence swallow me. It was mid-morning when she came back. I heard the key turn, slow footsteps, Then her voice, shaky, small. "Ethan, can we talk?" I didn't look up. "Talk about what?" "How well you lied." She dropped her bag, tears streaking her face. "It was a mistake. I swear, I don't even know why." "Don't insult me with that," I said. "A mistake is for getting milk. You made a choice." She sank beside me, reaching for my hand, but I pulled away. For years, I've been the one trying to fix us, apologizing, planning, holding together while she kept tearing holes through it. And I finally realized I hadn't been loving her for a long time. I'd been loving who she used to be. "I'll do anything," she whispered. "Therapy, time apart, whatever it takes." I looked at her, really looked. The woman who once fell asleep on my chest and told me I made her feel safe was gone. What stood before me was a stranger, someone who traded love for attention, honesty for convenience. "You already took everything that mattered," I said quietly. "There's nothing left to fix." That night, I packed a few things. Not everything, just enough to start over. Some clothes, my grandfather's watch, my dog, and the will to finally walk away. She cried, begged, clung to me at the door. "Please don't leave like this," she sobbed. I almost smiled. "Like this, Claire? There's no right way to leave someone who already left months ago." I walked out without slamming the door. The soft click behind me was louder than any fight we ever had. Weeks passed. She called, texted, left messages I never heard. I changed my number, deleted our photos, erased her from everywhere. I learned that the closure I wanted wasn't hers to give. It came from silence, from rebuilding myself after years of losing who I was just to keep her happy. Sometimes memories still surface. Her laugh, her perfume, the way she'd say love you without looking up from her phone. But they don't sting anymore. They're just echoes, faint traces of a life that no longer fits. I started running again, joined a small gym, met people who didn't need my history to see me. And in that quiet rebuilding, I found peace, the kind that comes when you stop needing answers. A few days ago, a friend mentioned Claire had moved away. Apparently, she's working on herself. Maybe she is. Maybe she isn't. It doesn't matter anymore. What I've learned is simple. Love should never cost you your sense of self. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That night, when I pushed open that door, I thought what I saw would destroy me. But it didn't. It freed me. It shattered the illusion, the pretending, the waiting. I didn't lose a wife that night. I lost a version of myself that thought pain was proof of love. Now, when I look in the mirror, I finally recognize the man staring back. He's not broken. He's free.